Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 12th of April 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comment. In the headlines today, some information has come out as regards to the interface for Call to Arms, and some screenshots have been provided by MMO Champion. And what it shows is just how the game will tell you which class is in need. You'll notice, for instance, that there will be a gold ring around the side of the class required, and also to clarify the fact that not everyone will get these rewards, you can also notice a little icon above the Satchel of Exotic Mysteries, which indicates what kind of class role you will need in order to be eligible for it. Bear in mind the bag is also bind on account as well, so you can trade it with any alt that you happen to own. Along with this additional interface, in 4.1 you're also going to be getting a new redesigned Game Master and Support interface, and we've got a screenshot of it for you right here, and it will just make it a little bit easier in order to report various things, as well as find the answer that you happen to be looking for. You will also notice on this list that you've got some hot issues, and they have a little fire symbol next to them, and these are some of the most common problems that are coming up, so hopefully that will reduce the load on the GMs a little bit, although somehow, considering people's entitlement complexes, I doubt that. What? CynicalBrit.com? God, I would have thought you'd been used to this by now. Cryptozoic Entertainment has released a new set of starter decks for the World of Warcraft trading card game for those of you who are interested in getting into the game without investing a huge amount of money. So what these things basically are is there are 10 starter decks, one for each class, that are pre-built and ready to go right out of the box. There'll also be a Realm Championship on the 16th and 17th of April, and there's going to be a lot of prizes available for that. Feel free to click the link in the description below this video to find out more. Cryptozoic has also described what exactly will be in the starter decks. It will consist of a 61-card pre-built deck, a official rulebook, one 19-card War of the Elements booster pack, and there's also a chance to have one of 3 randomly inserted loot cards: the Sandbox Tiger, the Owned Flag, and the El Polo Grande Rooster Mount. The starter decks are going to be retailing for $11, so that's not too bad at all, and they are expected to be released at the start of May. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. There really isn't an awful lot in terms of the Daily Blues. I'm sorry, there isn't, but I've managed to find one. This one is from Takralis once again. This is information about doing rated battlegrounds against the Blues. And on the 13th of April at 1:30 AM Central European Summertime, they will be going online to fight on the PTR. And that's going to be on Broxigar. That's the realm Broxigar. Now, this was also supposed to be happening on the US side, however, by the time this video goes out, it will have already happened. So, I assume they will probably be doing some more at some point in the not-too-distant future, and I'll try and keep you up to date on that. And that is it for the noteworthy Daily Blues, folks, so it's time for your daily grind. You've been asking for this quest for so very sodding long, so I will provide it here for you, folks. Yes, this is the one and only Gnome-bliteration. It's cathartic. It's energetic, it's destructive, it can be found in Uldum, and it is quite something. You must kill 1,000 crazed gnomes, ladies and gentlemen. It is annihilation, it is genocide as far as I'm concerned. However, it is for a worthwhile cause. The slaughter of any gnomes, and indeed the culling of the population of said gnomes, is vitally important for the survival of not only our race, but the planet in general. What a lot of people don't know, in fact, is that the reply code Omega that was sent from the one and only Algalon the Observer was in fact as a result of a gnome infestation in the life support network of the planet, which is disastrous. Obviously, we almost got blown up, so there you go. You must do it. Do your part, ladies and gentlemen. Would you like to know more? And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. This is the Achievement Hog. Now, I've been telling you that I've been sorting things out as regards to getting this show done in a more efficient manner. Because, hey, I've been missing shows, and that's not good, so I'm going to get that fixed. So, I enlisted the help of Insidia to make sure that I was able to get my shows done on time. What that means is I've got a helper from Insidia who will be providing the footage for various achievements, which means that we can check out all sorts of exotic things that I don't actually have the time to do myself. However, you will get, as always, a perfect guide. So let's kick it off right here with the first achievement on this particular list, which is Extra Credit Bonus Stage. Now, in order to get this one, you have to collect 5 golden orbs in a single visit to the Vortex Pinnacle. Now, these golden orbs are hidden in various areas. There are actually 8 in total, but you do only need to get 5 in order to actually get the achievement. So, there are quite a few, and you can see them on the screen right here. So just in case you can't figure out exactly where they are, here are the locations of all of them. So, after the first boss, there is a set of orbs at the back of his platform. There's 2 of them next to the tornado that you need to get on in order to go further. So if you look to the right, you should be able to grab that without falling to your death, which is kind of handy. Now, if you remember the hurricane gale balls, those little spinning things that you try to avoid going through, there's one on either side of those, so you need to try and grab that. Now, the 5th and 6th ones are a little bit awkward because you can only acquire them while you're fighting Altarius, and you need to use the tornadoes to reach them while you're actually fighting them. As to where they are, they're actually on the opposite side of the dome that he's fought in. Now, as regards to the rest of them, if you happen to miss those 2, then there are a couple over on the first platform after the second boss. So have a look at those and just have a look around. You should be able to find those without too much of a problem. And remember, you will only need to get 5 of them in order to get the achievement. Now, the next one, we're going for instance-based ones today, as you can probably tell. This one is Pardon Denied, which requires you to defeat Baron Ashbury without letting him heal with Stay of Execution in Shadowfang Keep on Heroic difficulty. There's a couple of interesting ways to do this. One, for instance, is have your tank be a Paladin, and once the Stay of Execution is interrupted, the Paladin tank uses a Word of Glory with 3 Holy Power stacked into it, so that's pretty damn effective. The problem with being the tank in this encounter is that after the Stay of Execution is interrupted, he's going to immediately start wailing on you again. So if you're able to do that as a Paladin, that'll make sure that your healer doesn't fail to heal you for whatever reason. Aside from that, healers need to make sure they use an instant heal on the tank if he is in fact not a Paladin. Get him up to about 50% and then just use light AoE healing on the group to make sure that they don't die and dispel pain and suffering as quickly as possible. If your interrupters are totally on the ball, then you should be absolutely fine and you'll get your achievement by doing that. Now, last but by no means least, this one is called No Static at All, which is a reference to the song FM by Steely Dan. In order to achieve this, you have to completely avoid the static cling effect during the Assad encounter. Now, the way that you do this is to make sure that you jump before the cast goes down. There is a little bit of argument as to what this actually requires, and it's a little bit dodgy because it's also a little bit latency based as well. It's kind of like the Minesweeper achievement. There is a lag factor in it, and also you are required to do so individually. So if one of you fails, that's not the worst thing in the world because someone else can still get it, but you can't be carried through it. However, there is a way to kind of cheese this. And what you can do, if of course your group decides to agree to it, is that you can engage in the fight and then die before the first static cling. And if you're able to do that, and the group beats the boss anyway, you will still get the achievement, because of course you weren't touched by any static cling, because static cling does not affect dead targets. So yeah, there you go. Just bear in mind that you cannot get out of static cling by using immunity effects and things like that. It will still count as you being affected by it, and you will not get the achievement. One final tip, if you're having trouble with latency or timing, then just stand on the spot and bounce up and down. Just keep spamming it over and over and over again, and most of the time, that will give you a fighting chance at getting this achievement. Okay, folks, there we go. There's your achievement hog for you, and with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Zachary, who says, Dear TB, now that they're bringing back Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub in patch 4.1, they're giving players a chance for a new in-game mount. As someone that likes to collect mounts, I'm very excited for this, but before they first took Zul'Gurub out, I'd farmed the Tiger mount for months on many different tunes with no success of receiving the mount. Do you think it would be a good idea for Blizzard to give the players that farmed the mount previously a chance at receiving the original mount, such as if you had killed High Priest the Carl 5 times before they took Zul'Gurub out, when you kill him in the new 85 heroic version? Instead of a chance at the new mount, you get a chance at the original version. Or do you think Blizzard could work this into the new Call to Arms system? What are your thoughts? My thoughts are that as unlucky as it is for people to have not gotten that mount beforehand, it should not be given out to people that hadn't acquired it previously. I'm sorry, it shouldn't. I am a firm believer in people having the right to be as unique as possible within this game. So if somebody acquired that mount by the legitimate means beforehand, there should not be a threat to them of the uniqueness of their achievement being sort of whittled away by the fact that Blizzard has suddenly decided, well, there's going to be another way of doing it. I like the fact that Blizzard recolored the mounts. I think that's actually all that's required, a recoloring and a renaming, because then it gives you that nice, unique feeling when you've got something that a lot of people don't have. Prime example would be old Raptors, for instance. There's actually a feat of strength for that, if I recall. And I do not agree with bringing those exact colors of Raptors back into the game, but I'd be okay with bringing in different colors. It's kind of like, you know how Team Fortress 2 works, where they brought in that shop where you could buy weapons with real money? However, what they did was, everyone that had acquired their weapon the old-fashioned way, it got colored blue, and it had the word vintage tagged onto it. So that I like, because it's obvious that the player got it one way and not the other, and people can take pride in that kind of thing. And I think that applies to World of Warcraft as well, and people are more likely to stay playing and be happy if they feel that they have something that's a little bit rare or a little bit unique. So I don't agree with any system whereby bringing the old Zul'Gurub mounts back in would be a part of it. I think that's unreasonable. I don't have a Zul'Gurub mount, and you know what? I don't care. It's totally fine. I didn't win the roles, I didn't do Zul'Gurub enough, I didn't farm it for the last few 100 years or whatever, so that's fine. I don't see the problem with that. Let other people have a little bit of uniqueness. You don't have to have everything. This one comes in from Kalan, who says, "Hi TB, I recently reached level 85 in my first character. I was excited and ready to take on all the new heroic instances, etc. So I instantly queued for a heroic. Being a tank, I got the queue instantly." That's a lot of instances you've got going on there. Instantly instanced. God. Anyway, so I entered the instance and was instantly, but Jesus Christ, are you doing this on purpose? You've got to be. Oh, wow. Anyway, so I entered the instance and damn it! You know what, I'm not even going to cut that out. I'm just going to leave it there as an expression of my disdain for your writing style. Oh, God, anyway. So I entered the instance and was instantly barraged with a flurry of unpleasant comments directed at my gear. I instantly left, and after much self-deliberation, I concluded that I was most likely under-geared. In reflection, I set about finding methods of acquiring better gear. The AH yielded barely help, as most tanking gear, or any 85 heroic-worthy gear, usually soars around the 5,000 plus budget. So after running Halls of Origination for the 100th time, I finally had enough Justice points to buy some decent gear. The point I'm trying to reach is that the gap in gear qualities between the two difficulties is quite large. I'm not saying that they need to reduce the eye level cap or nerf the dungeon. All I'm saying is there needs to be a reasonably good way to acquire gear for heroic dungeons. Do you agree? Or do you think that maybe I'm being a bit too impatient and should do some hard work for gear? Well, I'm happy for one thing that you actually willing to go back to the drawing board, and a lot of other tanks would just complain or whine, or indeed any other players, like, I am entitled to go into this dungeon, blah 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 blah, and like, well, no, you're not really. You are not entitled to waste other people's time. That's probably the biggest insult you could ever give to somebody. However, I do agree with you on some level that, for instance, it's actually something we were saying in the beta an awful lot, and it also came up in early Azeroth Dailies. A lot of people were complaining about this, that for a lot of classes, particularly tanks, they were having difficulty finding the necessary gear because there was so little of it. There's barely any variety in terms of gear in Cataclysm. There's like, this will be tanking shield, and then there are no other tanking shields anywhere else. It's like, you must go here to get tanking shield. You will get tanking shield from nowhere else, and stuff like that. I think it was something like plate tanking braces were ridiculous. Like, there was only one of those in the entire game, and the drop rate was really low, and I don't know what they're really playing at there. You'll remember recently, of course, that they were giving you item level 346 gear for running the 85 normals. They would give you some justice points, but it's not many, is it? It's like 33 or something like that. It's odd. I have to wonder why they just don't introduce a new currency for normals. Why don't we make a tier of badges below that provides 333 gear? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're expected to really have when you go into heroic dungeons, which of course yield item level 346, which is the same level as justice points, and then you go into raids to get 359 and so forth. I think that anyone that expects you to have more than 333 when you go into a heroic dungeon is being unreasonable. And I think perhaps we're seeing, as we go back through this once again, that people are being overly ridiculous when it comes to their expectations of people going into these dungeons. And that's as a result of the badge system, because people have to go in there to get their badges, so they want the quickest run possible, which is actually the evils of the badge system, and more accurately, the daily badge system in its current format. That's the problem with it. But 333 gear should be more than enough. As far as I'm concerned, they should put in another tier of badges, and when you run normals, if you don't get the drops, you should earn currency anyway, which will eventually allow you to buy stuff. And I know you earn currency now to get Justice gear, but you earn it way too slowly. And also, I don't think you should really be able to get it any faster anyway. That's the problem with the system. They have it giving you Justice points so slowly because it's a normal, and really it shouldn't be giving 3, 4, 6 gear anyway, but they've done it anyway to try and bridge the gap. Why not just another tier? Can we not just have some new items that yields 333 and we can get those from normals in order to supplement gear? And it's not like you're not doing the right content anyway. You're getting gear that is equivalent to the content you're running. I remember a time when that used to be the case. Yeah, those were good times. Okay, folks, that's me done for the day. Thank you very much for watching Azeroth Daily. Please remember to thumb it up and favorite it if you like it, and thumb it down if you do not. Feel free to write me angry emails if it gets it off your chest. I'm all about making people feel better on this show. I like placating people. I also might be lying. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next time.